Hello, and welcome back to Content and Conversations. I'm your host, Ryan Dowdy, and I'm very excited to chat with you today about pain point marketing. Pain point marketing, is it, do we do it? How do we not do it? What do we do instead? This is just such a hot topic, and I see so much of this on social media, and I thought, hey, I should absolutely positively record a podcast on, pain point marketing, what it is, and then what to do instead if that does not feel good to you. So when I say pain point marketing, I basically mean the old school, and I think it's like it goes all the way back to Dan Kennedy. If you're a marketer, if you're a marketing nerd, if you're not, ignore that. But it was the whole concept of what we want to do is we want to market to the pain that people are in, and we want to shove the knife in, and we want to twist the knife, right? Like I've literally heard those words used when people talk about marketing and marketing strategies. You want to talk about this is the pain that your potential client, your prospect, your whomever, your lead is in. And what we want to do is we want to hit on that pain and we want to push that button, right? Think of it like there's a bruise on your leg and you just want to push the bruise and push the bruise and push the bruise till the point where the person's like, okay, uncle, I give, right? And for all of the words I just used, I hope you understand why we don't believe in that as a strategy, but how do we then still point out maybe the pain that our clients are in, but without making them feel like shit is basically where it's at. And so the reason why I am pretty anti-pain point marketing is because A, I don't want people to feel like shit, and B, because I want to work with clients who are empowered and excited and motivated and determined and, all of those different things. I don't necessarily want a client coming to me bleeding and in pain, and to me, it's just energetic, right? All of our clients want the same result, and all of the clients in your business want the same result, right? They want the result that you provide, but I don't want them coming to me, to use again that example, I don't want them coming to me in pain and bleeding and suffering and desperate for help, right? I want them coming to me being like, hey, listen, I know that the key to get to my next level is to hire you, and here's why I want to do it. So that is actually why fundamentally I am not a fan of pain point marketing, because I don't want bleeding, suffering clients. I want empowered, determined clients. So, but what do we do? Because a big part of marketing is explaining to our clients why we are the best fit for them. So the biggest thing that I tell our clients to do when they're working with us inside of the agency is really focus on the symptoms of the problem. And you've probably heard me say this again, but it's a really strong and important part of your marketing strategy is understanding what are the symptoms of the problem, because nobody woke up this morning thinking, I want to hire whatever it is that you do, right? Like that's probably not what's going on in their head. But they did wake up this morning in some level of discomfort or in wanting to move in a certain direction, right? So, if you are a health and fitness coach, maybe, they did want to fit into their jeans better. They do want to be more active. If you're an accountant or a bookkeeper, maybe your clients don't necessarily want, they didn't wake up this morning wanting to hire a bookkeeper or an accountant, but maybe they just wanted to be able to make more confident money decisions, right? So what are the symptoms of the problem that your client is very likely experiencing in their day-to-day life that would indicate, hey, I should hire you? And really understanding what those symptoms are, then allow us to approach the marketing from a much more empowered place. So again, this is not a matter of we don't talk about pain. We talk about what's going on, but we're not pushing the knife in and twisting. So the first thing I want you to do, and this is just a little bit of a homework assignment, if you're not driving, take some notes, but what are the symptoms? When your clients come to you, when you get them into discovery calls, when you get them into your program, when you sign that client, why are they coming to you? And when you really understand those symptoms, then you can start creating marketing that says, listen, I understand that this is happening in your life. And I understand that maybe you're frustrated, or maybe you're overwhelmed, or maybe you don't like this thing. But the good news is that there's hope. The good news is you don't have to stay there. The good news is that there's a solution to your problem. So instead of, again, kick a man while he's down, while he's having a problem, this is something my first mentor always talked about was, our job as business owners in the sales process is to be the doctor, right? Like we are there to prescribe and, to basically tell them, hey, listen, this is what's going on, right? To say, this is your prognosis and here is my prescription, with of course your product or service being the prescription, right? But really our job is to say, hey, tell me what's going on here. Oh, okay, cool. I see what the problem is. It's this, and here's how to fix it. So that is the approach that I take to, like, hey, I understand that you're having this symptom. I understand that you're having this problem, and here's how to fix it. And then of course, obviously in our marketing, we give as much value or as much away, and I'm using air quotes, as you want about your product, service, process, solution. And then of course, with the call to action being, if you want the fast path, or to skip the line or to not have to suffer or whatever it is, figure this out on your own, reach out to me. So that's really the approach that I take to pain point marketing is, let's talk about, I understand that you are having this symptom. This is probably why you are having this symptom. This is another really amazing way to build credibility and to build trust, is to tell them why they're having that symptom. So there's plenty of people, again, that we follow on social media that are constantly pointing out problems, but they don't ever actually tell you why they have the problem. And they sure as hell don't tell you how to fix the problem. And of course, we all know that to fix the problem, they should hire you, but I've also learned that if you don't give any more color than that, hey, here's your problem. I see what your problem is. I know what your problem is. I know what your problem is. Just because you can tell me what my problem is doesn't mean that I'm going to hire you. I want you to tell me what my problem is. I want you to tell me why I'm having the problem. And then I want you to prescribe me the solution. So in this instance, you are the doctor, right? And the doctor says, tell me what your symptoms are. And, we're not going to get into it, like actually helping in healthcare today, but you get my point here, right? Is that I'm going to hear what your symptoms are, and I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to ask you some questions. Why is this happening? Is this happening? Is that happening? Are you seeing this? Are you doing this? Have you tried this? Right? I'm going to hear a couple different things, and I'm going to say, okay, cool. Based on this, I'm going to write you a prescription. That is how we approach pain point marketing. So we're going to say, here is the symptom of the problem, and then telling them this is likely why you are having this problem. And one of the things, and this actually is an old school marketing strategy and tactic, is I like to tell people this is not your fault, right? Take away the shame and the guilt that they maybe feel, right? Like, it's not your fault that you can't lose those last 50 pounds or lose the 50 pounds you want to lose. It's not your fault that lead generation doesn't feel good to you. It's not your fault that you are not an expert at accounting. It is not your fault that, operations isn't your jam. It's not your fault that you don't know how to run a business, right? It's not your fault because you simply don't have those skills, right? Or maybe you've been taught incorrectly, right? I don't like to, when I think about how I create pain and create emotion with our clients, it's not in what they're feeling. I typically will do that by throwing rocks at whatever the thing is, right? You guys know you hang out in this world. I throw rocks at launching and webinars all of the time, right? People who are completely launch dependent, advertising dependent in their business. I throw rocks at that a lot, and then I can say, hey, listen, it's not your fault that you have gotten hooked on this live launch roller coaster. That's not your fault, right? Because you were told this, and this is how it's explained, and you were never taught any other way to sign clients. So of course you don't know how. It's not because you're not capable. It's not because you're stupid. It's not because you're not talented. It's not because you're not good at what you do. It's simply because you were only taught one way to do this. So now I'm going to teach you a different way. So again, if we're going to create pain, if we're going to create emotion, if we're going to make somebody the bad guy, I want the bad guy to be the thing, right? To be the launching and the webinars and the gurus, right? Like, and again, you guys know there's no hiding what I'm marketing and selling to you guys, right? Because I am just very consistently telling you that, listen, like, this is not the only way to grow a business. And again, the reason that you don't know another way that works for you is because you've never been taught any other way. Here, come work with us. We're going to teach you how to do it. Better yet, we'll do it for you if you join our partner program, right? But that is me not telling you, hey, I know that you're not signing any clients between launches and that you're completely stressed out because you don't know where the next client is coming from. And you are terrified that ad costs is going through the roof and you don't know what you're going to do if you don't figure out ad costs, and this happened and then that happened and then this happened. And oh my gosh, if you don't learn how to sell between launches, your business isn't going to survive. Right? Like, to me, that's pain point marketing. And I don't fucking want to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. It doesn't feel good. Like, even my body doesn't feel good in just giving you that example of what pain point marketing would look like in this instance, right? Instead, I want to say to you again, I understand that you're probably not signing as many clients as you would like between launches. But again, it's not your fault because, back in 2020, back in 2021, launches were amazing. Ad cost was cheap. It was shooting fish in a barrel, and you mastered it. And you're amazing for doing that. But here you are faced with a different challenge, and I can teach you a better way. Which one of those feel better in your body? And again, I want clients that feel good in their body. I want clients with regulated nervous systems. It's the same reason I don't like FOMO marketing, right? I don't want to twist your arm to do business with me any more than I want to make you terrified that, live launching is never going to work for you ever again. Because if you come to me in that energy, I probably can't help you because it's that desperate energy. And so that's what we are trying to avoid here. So again, tell them, here are the symptoms of your problem. Here is why those symptoms are. And most of the time, those symptoms are not your fault. It's a lack of information. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of time. It's, whatever the case may be, that's not your area of expertise. Here is what to do instead. And then tell them what to do instead. And then it's like, but if you don't want to do that on your own, hire me, right? I am always very, very honest. And again, if you've been here for any amount of time, you know that. Like, I will tell you, there is nothing that I do inside of a business. There's nothing any of us do for people that they cannot do themselves, right? I used to kind of somewhat say this in a snarky way when I was teaching sales to new entrepreneurs. I'd say, two things we can do is like represent ourselves in a court of law and like pull our own teeth, right? But we don't want to do that, because we have a way better likelihood of getting the desired outcome in court if we hire an attorney. And we have a way better outcome of getting our teeth pulled, if we go to a dentist. Nothing that we sell as businesses is mission critical that they cannot figure out on their own. So the reason that they're choosing to hire us is because they don't want to figure it out on their own, right? They want to save time. They want to save money. They want to get a faster result. They, basically it comes down to most of those things. So again, that is the pain that I am illustrating. So I'm not trying to create the pain of, OMG, your business is going to collapse if you don't figure out how to sell between launches. It's just a matter of, listen, you and I both know you're capable of doing this, but you don't have X number of hours to figure this shit out on your own. And you don't have a team member who has the time available to actually do this. Let me help you. That's how we position ourselves as experts. That's how we position ourselves as thought leaders without creating this doom and gloom. And so the final thing I want to say, and this is actually shorter than I thought it was going to be, but somebody posted on social media the other day, and I didn't fact check this, but it was like, if you saw the data for, what a better response rate you would get from your marketing if you focused on pain points than if you focused on pleasure, you would do pain point marketing all day long. And, of course, I had the normal human reaction where I was like, well, shit, is that true? And I will tell you, I didn't even Google it. I didn't even look it up, because what I thought was, I don't care what the data says, right? I do not care what the data says. I trust myself. I trust my gut. I know what type of clients that I want, need, and desire in my business. And so I don't care if I could sign more shitty, desperate, terrified clients if I marketed to them as shitty, desperate, terrified clients. It literally does not matter to me. So this is an instance of, you really are going to have to lean in and learn to trust yourself, trust your gut, trust your intuition, do what feels good to you. Right? And the reason why I harp on this so much, and if you follow me on social media, you know that, is because I think for a lot of us, the reason that so many people have a such hard time with marketing is because those tactics, the false urgency, the pain point marketing, it doesn't feel good to us, but we can't find another way to do it, right? We're like, well, I don't want to do it this way. This doesn't feel good to me, right? It was the same thing with live launching. When I live launched, I launched my face off, right? But then when I got to the point where launching wasn't fun for me anymore, I was like, well, shit. I know that this way works, but I don't want to do it this way. So I'm going to find another way. But learning to trust yourself, because this is alignment, right? I have an entire podcast on alignment. Go back and listen to it. But this is literally what alignment is about, my friend. It is about doing what feels good to you, what sets your soul on fire, what feels good in your body. Because any marketing, anything really done from a place of fear, a place of have to, a place of obligation, a place of unrest, a place of frustration, a place of force, a place of should, is never going to get the result that it desires. So if it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. And that's why I talk about this so much, where there is another way, because even if you do what they tell you have to do or you should do, you're probably not going to get the result that you desire, because it is out of alignment with you and it doesn't feel good. And people can feel that in your energy. They can see it in your videos. They can feel it in your emails. They can feel it in your written content. They can feel it in the podcast that you record, right? So if you are doing something that doesn't feel good to you, you're never going to get the result that you want. So despite there being oodles of data to support that pain point marketing is more effective, it's never going to be more effective to me, Ryan Dowdy, because it doesn't feel good to me, Ryan Dowdy, in my body. So you have to ask yourself, does this feel good to you in your body? Does this feel good to you in who it attracts? Does it feel good to you in the result that it gets? And if it doesn't, there is a better way. And it's as simple as, just like I said, right? Focusing on what is the symptom, What is the symptom that they are having? Why do they very likely have that symptom? And by the way, it's probably not your fault. Here's what to do instead. And if you would like help figuring this out, let me help you. And literally try that formula in your content and see what happens. I think you are going to be very pleasantly surprised, A, that it feels better in your body. And frankly, just feeling better in your body is going to get you a better result. But B, it's going to bring you a very different type of client. It's going to bring you a very different type of prospect. It's going to get you into a very different type of conversation with somebody who is coming at it from a different energy. Because as I said when I opened this podcast, I don't want desperate, save me energy, ever. I want empowered, excited, disciplined, committed energy. And so I know that the world is a mirror, right? That people are responding to my energetics. So I have to show up in that way if that is the response I desire. Try it out. Let me know. Come back. Tell me. I don't care. Find me on social media. Send me an email. Tell me how this feels when you try this formula in your marketing. Talk soon.